the weather report earlier this morning." He stopped himself from adding, "on my computer." Verlaque imagined she had an old boxy television in the corner of a room, the kind with a rabbit ear antenna. She replied, clicking her teeth. She readjusted her cane to get ready to walk on. "And Christmas is finally over." Verlaque laughed out loud. "Thankfully." She nodded in lieu of saying goodbye and walked away. Verlaque turned to watch her go, and he wondered where she lived. Was her apartment a small, squalid bedsit, or was she an eccentric noblewoman who lived with too many cats in a grand bourgeois hôtel particulier? One thing was clear to him, though. She lived alone. At least his parents still had each other, even if they rarely spoke, and a team of servants to look after them. He walked on, heading south on the cobblestone side of the cour toward his favorite pâtisserie. A couple walked toward him, and he tried not to frown. They were the sort of Aixois couple he despised. She, too thin, too made up, and sporting the same haircut and expensive bag as the teenage girls. She walked on impossibly high heels, and pushed a baby buggy almost as big as his 1961 Porsche. Verlaque couldn't imagine how she interacted with the infant inside. It was an accessory. He realized he was probably being unfair. "Try to be a better person, Antoine." Usually he looked in people's eyes to grasp something of their character, but husband and wife both wore enormous sunglasses, the kind that made the wearer look like a fly. Dolce & Gabbana. They both had the same colored, streaked hair, or was it possible to have natural hair with a dozen shades of red and blonde? And he wore a leather motorcycle jacket that was covered in brand names and insignias. Verlaque tried not to be angered by their obvious posing. He knew that Marine hardly noticed others around her. He took a drag of his cigar and vowed to be more inward-thinking, like Marine. "Another damn resolution," he mumbled. And then he saw the queue. "What the—" A lineup, at least 20 people long, flowed out of Michaud's and onto the sidewalk. Verlaque pulled out his cell phone and checked the date. "Merde!" The phone then rang, and he answered it, almost yelling, "Oui!" "Good morning, sir. Am I interrupting you?" "No, no," Verlaque answered. "Sorry, Bruno, I'm standing on the cour, hungry, in front of Michaud's, and forgot that it was January 6th. Aix-en-Provence's commissioner laughed and then coughed. "Sorry, sir. Are people queuing up to buy their galette des rois?" "Of course they are," Verlaque said, as he got in line. "Do people actually like those things?" Bruno Paulique coughed again. "Well," he said, "yeah. I just want a brioche. I didn't have time for breakfast," Verlaque said. "I'll be a while getting back." "Sir," Paulique began, "since you're in the queue—" "You want a brioche too? No problem." "No, actually," Paulique said. "I'd promised Hélène and Léa that I'd buy them a galette for this evening." "Oh, mon Dieu," Verlaque said. "A medium-sized one will do," Paulique said, ignoring Verlaque's comment. "Don't forget the paper crown," he continued. "Léa will go berserk if there isn't the crown." "I know about the crown, Bruno," Verlaque said, inching forward toward the shop's front door. He stepped up onto the first step of the shop and set his cigar on the window ledge, planning on picking it up on his way out. The smell of butter and warm sugar made his stomach growl. "I can't remember the last time I had a galette des rois. I've never cared for the almond paste. In fact," Paulique continued, as if he hadn't heard a word, "we're having a fête des rois this afternoon at the Palais de Justice. I forgot to tell you." Verlaque held his cell phone away from his ear and looked at it, bewildered at his rugby-playing commissioner's enthusiasm. Paulique continued. "And Léa asked me this morning if you and Marine could come to our place tonight to celebrate." Verlaque smiled.